Let's take a look at how we can calculate an average rate of change when the data is given in a table. And as you can see here, we have a table that's giving values for temperature at specific times. And in part A, we're supposed to find the average rate of change of temperature over the first 30 seconds. Now keep in mind, when we're finding an average rate of change, we're really just finding a single slope. That is the slope of a secant line. Now, a lot of students, they'll see this table and they'll think of the normal calculations they do when they're calculating an average, which is to add up a bunch of numbers and then divide by how many numbers you have. That is not what we're doing here. We're just finding the slope of a single secant line. So we need 2 points to find that slope. And we're talking about the average rate of change of temperature over the first 30 seconds. So the values we're going to use, or the rows from this table that we're going to use, are those corresponding to a time of 0 seconds and 30 seconds. Those are our values. Now, remember our time values here, those are kind of like our x values, and our temperature values are our y values. So if we want to find the average rate of change, we need to find a slope. So for part A, we can say average rate of change. Well, average rate of change is a slope, and slope is what we get when we do rise divided by run. Now, in this case, our rise is our change in temperature, and our run is our change in time. Now, the change in temperature, well, we started at a temperature of 86.756 degrees Fahrenheit and ended at a temperature of 94.496 degrees Fahrenheit for that 30-second interval. So our change in temperature will be 94.496 minus 86.756. And our change in time, well, it's the difference between a time of 0 seconds and a time of 30 seconds. So, of course, that is just 30 seconds, but we can actually write 30 minus 0 if you would like. And then we'll grab the calculator and make this calculation. So I'm just punching in 94.496 minus 86.756. And then I'm hitting equals to get that result. And I'll divide by whatever 30 minus 0 is, which is 30. So I'm just going to hit divided by 30, and that gives me 0.258. Now, what units should we use for this rate of change? Well, our temperature is measured in degrees Fahrenheit, and our time is measured in seconds. So the units for this rate of change will be degrees Fahrenheit per second, and that's our average rate of change. Now, for part B, we have pretty much the same thing. We're going to find the average rate of change of temperature from 15 seconds to 40 seconds. So we're going to be using different rows in our table this time. The row corresponding to a time of 15 seconds and that for 40 seconds. And we'll just make the same type of calculation. So here we go. Our average, this is for part B, our average rate of change is our change in temperature divided by our change in time. And again, we'll find our change in temperature by subtracting our 2 temperature values. So we have our second one, which is 94.784, minus our first, which is 92.678. And divide that by the change or the difference in our times, which we can get by doing 40 minus 15. All right, so 94.784 minus 92.678 gives us 2.106, and 40 minus 15 gives us 25. And we can do that division there, so 2.106 divided by 25 gives us 0.08424, 0.8424. And again, we have units of degrees Fahrenheit per second. So that's how you can calculate average rate of change when the data is given in a table. There you go.